2007, he appeared on The X Factor with the blonde hair and the big quiff. Rhydian Roberts, bit of a crossover artist. He's a Welsh baritone, but he's had a career since The X Factor. He didn't win it, but he went around the world touring with some of the big classically trained singers, as well as appearing in things like War of the Worlds. He's also been We Will Rock You, and this week he's in Greece, over in Stoke, as Teen Angel. Now, the last time I was talking about Greece on this programme was with Robin Cousins, who was Teen Angel when it came to Nottingham. So the first thing I asked Rhydian when I got the chance to speak to him was he in Robin Cousins' suit?
No, I have a different suit. Well, in fact, the budget stretched to make him one for me.
Because you are Teen Angel now in this. It's a musical which just keeps going and seems to have a life of its own, doesn't it?
It's as popular as it's ever been, really. You know, it was voted back a bit as it won the prize, the top 50 musicals of all time. And the music stands the test of time, and the storyline, and it's a feel-good show.
What's it like coming into something like this? Because there's an expectation with an audience, and they sort of know the numbers anyway, don't they? Do you leave them to sing, or do you still put the performance in?
No, you've got to put the performance in, really. In fact, I'm the only character in the show that can interact with the audience. The rest of the players have to be in character the whole time. So it's nice to have that sort of artistic license. And you do hear a few voices singing along. It's not like you don't do the pop star thing where if you're too tired you say, right, your turn to sing. You know why they're doing that? It's because they can't hit the notes, don't you? It's like, but we can't do that, especially me, because I've only got 4.5 minutes.
Well, that's the other thing, isn't it? It's like, what do you do around that 4.5 minutes? Because you've got a long time before you come on, then you do your bit, and then you go off to rapturous applause, and that's it, isn't it?
More or less, yeah. I appear in the second half, and in the meantime, I'm in my dressing room. It's a nice little gig for me, I have to be honest, and the cast are wonderful. Many of them have performed their roles in the West End as well. I mean, Danny Bain, who plays the lead, he won Grease is the Word back in 2007, I think, or 2006, and he's still playing. Karina Giuseppe, she is Sandy, who was in the West End. And they're all really nice guys.
Last time I saw you on stage was for War of the Worlds. Which, and I'll be completely honest with you, you blew me away as the priest, which is a role that Jason Donovan's taken in the next series that's coming out. He was the artilleryman, wasn't he, when you were in it as the priest? How'd you get that?
Just luck, really. Jeff Wayne happened to watch The X Factor. Which sounds weird, but he got in touch direct and says, I'd love you to play the parson in War of the Worlds. And I did a bit of research and found out this had a massive following. The music was great, and it's an arena tour, and I had a fantastic time. And as you mentioned, I toured with Jason. And it'll be lovely to see him doing the role at the end of this. He actually got in touch and said, "Mind, have you got any tips?"
Because you think it's quite an easy song. When you first hear it on the album, you think it's quite an easy song. But actually, it's just an anthem, such an epic that Phil Lynott did initially on the first album. Is Jeff Wayne one of those people that's a perfectionist when it comes to putting that down on that stage when you're singing?
Probably, yeah. I mean, the most conscientious composer, artist I've ever worked with, to be honest. He is so true to the book, and you have to be on point, and you'd expect nothing less. I mean, the guy, it's done wonders for him, and it's a masterpiece, really, that he's very proud of. So you got to do what the man asks. But he's also a lovely man, and one of the kindest gentlemen I've ever met.
Where are you now in your career? Okay, we could mention the X Factor and start talking about it for 20 minutes. I don't want to do that. I want to talk about you and where you are now. Where is the career? Where are you where you want to be?
Well, I'm in a good place, that's for sure, and I have been for the past 4.5 years. There's always more that one could be doing, but I'm satisfied. I'm in a good place, and I always wanted to sort of gain respect within the industry, because coming off a cheesy show like X Factor, it's very easy to not have that respect, but I've actually defied the odds, perhaps, especially with the start that they gave me, to gain respect in the industry, and that's important. And yeah, we're building on that. You know, I've had 4 albums out. I've been in stage shows. I've got my own TV series in Wales, which is a great experience for me. It might lead to other things. Hopefully, I'm getting better as a singer with age, which is to be expected, really, within a classical crossover singer. You know, and that's the joy of being that type of singer.
It's a double-edged sword, though, isn't it? Because you've come off what you said, a cheesy show. You're then having to doubly prove yourself, aren't you? So it puts you in front of in people's living rooms on a Saturday night. Have you found it harder because of that? I
think the X Factor really it is a double-edged sword. You're absolutely right. But for me, it worked well because it got me out to the wider public. The perception that people have on that show of you, though, is perhaps not what the real person is, you know? I mean, you which is difficult because you have to work doubly as hard to prove that you're not.
Do you watch it now, or do you watch it through your fingers about what it was like? Because it's almost like an episode which is gone, which is why I don't want to talk about it for too long, because I just think, you know, people are better than that. Okay, it was a springboard, but now you're your own man, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. For me, it's very simple. It's about the performance and whether someone can turn it in and do it consistently. And hopefully I prove that I can do that in various different fields. Yeah, it was a springboard and a great experience. Met a lot of people, made some great contacts, and had exposure. But that's not really the real world, you know. But I'm in the real world of show business, if you like, now, and I'm doing very well.
My senses like a night in a forest, like the mountains in springtime, like a walk in the rain, like a storm in the desert, like a sleepy blue ocean. You fill up my senses. Come fill me again. Come, let me love you. Let me give my life to you. Let me drown in your laughter. Let me die in your arms. Let me lay down beside. Let me love you. Come love me fill up my senses. Come fill me again.
Back, though, to Rhydian Roberts, over in Stoke at the moment, in Greece. He's Teen Angel. He was an X Factor in 2007. And with a voice like he's got, how does he keep it in shape?
Exercise, train the voice an hour every day. I don't tend to go out. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Sound like a bundle of laughs, don't I?
It's available for cards any night of the week. You're fine.
But you have to treat yourself as an athlete, especially when you're doing 8 shows a week. And it's a muscle at the end of the day, which is smaller than 5p piece. There's a bit of useful information for you.
I'm writing that down, actually, because I've not heard that one before.
Yeah. Your larynx, is half the size of 5p piece.
Are you regularly then, keeping a check on that? Do you have to have regular checkups? Do you have to go and see singing coaches just to make sure that it will continue to work in the way that it works?
Well, I do. Definitely. I see a laryngologist 5 times a year who gives me a stroboscopy, which looks down the throat to see if it's in good working order. And thankfully it is at the moment and has been for my early career. But if you don't look after your voice, it's end of game, really. I rely solely on my instrument.
If you weren't singing, what do you think you'd be doing?
Well, I train as a PE instructor, actually, a personal trainer, and I've always had a passion for property development. So I would have done one of those 2 things. But I can't really imagine not performing, because I performed from the age of sort of 3, so...
And is there anything out there in the ambitions box that you want to tick? Because it seems to be, it was quite a steep learning curve. They've put you on the TV, and then you've done all these other big stadium tours, and then on stage in things like Greece. So,
well, I'd love a number 1 album. I've had a number 3 in the mainstream charts, number 2 in the classical charts. I'd love a number 1, and I'd love an anthemic song which I make well known. So, yeah, that would be an ambition of mine, and also perhaps to create a role in theatre that I can go to Broadway and to perform in West End. But just be happy at the end of the day. It's life can be shorter than you expect it to be, and you've got to enjoy, which I am. I've got a good balance, but there are many more things I want to achieve.
The other thing about the type of singing that you do is that, yes, you could do it with, a keyboard and a drummer and something like that, but you do like a big orchestra, don't you?
Performing with orchestra there's nothing like it. I've been fortunate enough to do that, and on a number of occasions. I remember my second album actually was performed with a 96-piece orchestra in Abbey Road, and that was one of the highlights. It really gets the hairs on the back of your neck on end. Hopefully, the singing that I do is... there's longevity in it.
How do you relax? How do you switch off?
I like to train, I like to run, and I also love going abroad. I love the sunshine. So going to the south of France is what I do on my time off. Yeah.
Listen, it's been brilliant talking to you. Thank you so much for popping into the studio, for having a word with us, and enjoy your 4.5 minutes again tonight.
I will do.
It sounds like the easiest job in the world, doesn't it? But it so isn't, is it?
Well, no, you've still got to turn it in, and we've got 2 shows on Friday and 2 on Saturday, and if you come, you'll have a great time. It's a fantastic family show.
Rhydian, thank you so much.
My pleasure.